Welcome to Rocker Radio. I'm Jason Bryan and you're listening to the BIG Interview. As we saw from our recent A2P SMS report published last June, A2P SMS messaging aggregation is a highly competitive industry with hundreds of vendors pushing to take leadership positions. One vendor who has appeared in all of our reports made Tier 1 last year, Route Mobile. While I was in Marrakesh last October, I had the chance to interview Group CEO at Route Mobile Ltd, Rajdip Gupta. In his interview, Rajdip discusses the recent acquisition of 365 Squared, rich communications services, and the next steps for Route Mobile Ltd.
Most of the operators, they do have firewall, but are they really monetizing it? No. The question is, having a great firewall is not the solution. Having the great analytics to understand which are the brands who are actually sending traffic and how to monetize it.
I'm here with Rajdip Gupta from Route Mobile. Route Mobile has been one of the A2P SMS vendors who we've been following for a few years now, and they've done very well in our research the last 3 years. Actually, this year they reached Tier 1 position in our A2P SMS research, so we're very happy to be here with Rajdip to understand a little bit more about why that is. I wanted to ask you, because this year's research we had over 300 operators contribute to the research. Clearly, mobile operators admire you as an organization. Do you have a feeling about why that is? What is the reason, would you say?
Yeah, I'm glad if they have admired us, and very thankful for them. And the reason, I'll tell you, very simple. We as a company are very focused in certain region, especially Asia, Africa, Latin America and Middle East, and you know that there are maximum number of operators there, and we are very strong in this region, and we have started our strategy to be local, serve local, and start focusing more on enterprise and OTT players. And since we have lots of in-country sales guys, and we have an interconnection team, and we invested lots of money in terms of infrastructure, products, and we've gone through different operators to have multiple direct connection, and recently we are able to interconnect more than 150 operators globally, and our target is to achieve 200 this year. Yes. So the kind of reach we have within the operator and the kind of revenue we are trying to generate for them, and I think they really love us, and they do see lots of potential working with Route Mobile. And probably the next year, I say 200 operators, you will have more feedback from more operators.
It's very interesting how you have expanded the company. There's a lot of buzzwords around IoT, different things going on with LTE, etc. Why did you choose A2P SMS as a market to get into?
Yeah, to be very honest, during 2003 times, we used to have this M2M technology, and now it has been rebranded as IoT and then IoE, Internet of Everything. But during that time, there was no clarity on M2M use cases. People were just talking about the product. They were trying to create blueprints for the product. But the question was that, do we have the right kind of infrastructure available to drive the M2M technology? No. There are certain operators, they tried their best during that time, but still people are still on a very test phases, and they're still doing testing. But now, during that time, the only option I have is how to make quick money, so that I can sustain and I can make sure my startup is doing well. Mm-hmm. So A2P is something which is very good in terms of, it's very easy to convince client and go that this is the benefit you're going to get. If you start using alert from SMS, you will get more customer engagement options rather than going for an email. So that was a basic thing I started selling in Middle East market and Saudi and UAE market. And the most of the people, they find this solution as a great solution to send alert to their customer base. And we are very lucky that we got certain partners based in Saudi Arabia and Middle East, like UAE, and we got direct connection with them, and we just started building our business from there. And I think that's the story.
And you just mentioned the 4 acquisitions that you've made as a company this year. I wonder if you can tell us a little bit more about 365 Squared. I mean, we know them as A2P monetization companies, very successful in the market. What was the reasoning behind that?
Yeah, I think this question has been asked by so many people, and it's good to answer in front of camera. I think my simple proposition on this overall acquisition is most of the operators, they do have firewall, but are they really monetizing it? No. The question is, having a great firewall is not the solution. Having the great analytics to understand which are the brands who are actually sending traffic and how to monetize it. So this company 365 Square has a great analytic tool, and their managed services are so well defined. They are now almost monetizing 54 brands, which is really big. Wow. No other firewall companies, if I'm not wrong, maybe I'm correct, because they are the best guys in terms of monetization. 365 Square, because the way the team, the strength of the team, the product understanding, and the relation with the operators. I think that's the reason I thought this is the best company to buy, because I can drive with my own sales team, which is spread out across the globe, and they will have a different product line. They've got a small team now. With our own team of more than 150 sales guys, we have a huge potential to sell this across the globe now.
And we saw lots of talk in the last year, and in fact Rocco did a report on mobile engagement about RCS, and of course Mobile World Congress Americas a couple of weeks ago was focused on RCS. I mean, San Francisco, Google were there, of course. What's your take on it? Is RCS really a competitor to A2P SMS?
See, there are two ways to see it. If you see RCS as a competition to A2P, then you need to also consider iMessage. Okay, you can do everything over iMessage what you can do RCS, right? So the biggest challenge we have now, we need to consider about developed country and developing country. So if you talk about developed country, yes, there are people ready. There are handsets available where you can drive RCS. But most of the population, which lives in developing countries, they still don't have the smartphone. Okay, so we need to also consider the infrastructure of the operator. Are operator really ready to adopt RCS? If they are, there are how many? Like in a simple example of India, it's 1.4 billion people, just one operator supports RCS, which is the Reliance Jio, because they are new. Rest of the operator, they have no plan. They have not discussed single point that we are going for an RCS. Simple question, there are still tool available like WhatsApp, Viber. So there's a big question tomorrow if WhatsApp come up with a big enterprise solution where they can integrate the whole enterprise solution within their app, then RCS is again question mark. But as a technology, I think RCS supported by Google, yes, I can see some future definitely in coming years, but it need to be really planned well, and it will really make sure they go with a bang and saying that this is the way, the benefit, they need to also see the operator appetite to adopt RCS. If operator is not willing to adopt, I think it's a big challenge, but I think they should also understand the market. The market is really not ready in African market, Asian or Latin market, I think. So that's my
right. So it's a bit of a niche solution. You've made acquisitions this year. What's the next step? What's the future of Route Mobile looking like?
Yes, as a company, I think we are going to more focus on a technology. So A2P is just one part of a solution. Okay. So recently we rebranded our name from Route SMS to Route Mobile, because I want to cater to entire ecosystem of mobile. It is not just SMS piece. So we need to focus more on a technology side. I think the next step for me is machine learning, AI, chatbot, and definitely data analytics and IoT. So I think the IoT space is now really built up, and I do see lots of use cases where people are going to adopt. But I think machine learning and AI is definitely going to be the next big thing. So these are the four or five things which I need to, as a company, we need to focus on, and that's our plan.
Thank you very much, Rajdip, for your time. It's been a real pleasure to speak to you today, and we hope to see you in our future reports and a greater success next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jason. Thanks a lot.
We hope you enjoyed this week's podcast. Look out for more in the Big Interview series in the coming weeks. If you're an MNO or vendor, you might like to know that Rocco has this week published its first industry survey for MNOs on messaging strategy. With the omnichannel trend for messaging providing more options for MNOs, we're interested to know what MNOs are thinking in this space. If you're in a messaging leadership position in an MNO, you might want to take part in this short messaging survey, available on the research projects page of our website. The results will be out in February, and an exclusive report given to all of the MNOs who take part. Until next time, this is Jason Bryan, and you've been listening to The Big Interview from Rocco Radio.